Alright guys, Azure Kuzia again. I'm here with Tom Cruise's Ninja Baby.
That's right.
He is no stranger to the top 10. He's currently ranked 34 in the 1 vs 1 battles, and he's over 80 wins. And from what I've learned about him, he loves the Mangonel, and he uses it devastatingly. So
Sometime.
Yeah, well, right here is going to be one of them. Alright, so here's one of your replays where you sit back with your siege engines and you pretty much wait it out and hit them. I mean, what's your main strategy here other than, you know, sit back and rain death on them?
Well, honestly, his strategy I think is kind of confusing. My idea right now is just to... Normally I try to save my Mangonels for important units, cavalry, or maybe some of the, you know, more defensive of the, you know, infantry units he has. But since he just decided to take his ranged up, I figured why not? He didn't seem to be that good, so I was just going to mess with him a little bit, take out some of his units, and they did a pretty good job of destroying 2 of his units. And I don't know how many matchlock were dead, because if you saw, there was actually 1 matchlock Ashigaru unit in there. But they took a couple casualties as well. So it accomplished my mission and got him to stay back, which I don't always like, but I honestly don't know why he left his guys there. I mean, it wasn't too smart, and he realized it when I took out almost, you know, a third of his unit on the left and started pulling him back into the trees.
I mean, a lot of people don't know how to handle the Mangonels. I mean, the first time I saw them, I figured, alright, I'm getting smashed by, you know, these catapults. What do? Do I hang back? I mean, yeah. Personally, I don't play that way. I just keep moving forward. I mean, my games end really quick, and I think I made the right decision to go through it, but at the same time, I just saw my guys explode everywhere.
Well, you know, I mean, honestly, I've lost battles where, you know, someone has decided to rush me. Quite a few times, actually. 2 or 3 times people have rushed me when I have my Mangonels, and it depends a lot on the landscape. It depends a lot on the unit types you have, but in this instance, I do agree with him hanging back. I really don't understand why he left his guys exposed like that. Not a very good idea. I mean, either commit and go all the way, or back off and don't take the casualties.
Right, so I'd imagine this is probably not even one of the best maps for this. I mean, I'm imagining a map where you have an incline that you can just camp on would be the best, you know, if they rush up the hill.
People, that's suicidal, honestly. But I will admit, who was it? I want to say it was AMP Rage. You know what I'm talking about?
No, but I can look him up.
He's like, yeah, I think he's like maybe number 20. He's ranked 20 something right now, or 14. He's in the top 30. And he did a pretty good number on me on, I don't know the name of the map, but it's a map where there's a hill in the middle that runs a length, and on each side there's an incline with some forestry, and then on the right and left side there's like some rock cliffs, and it kind of slopes down. And he was on that map with me, and I was trying to camp, and I think he's ranked 10, I want to say, but he came across the field with his matchlock units, and he just destroyed me. But anyways, you know, back to this thing, like, you know, I'm sitting here taking out some of his hidden guys, you know, because the cool thing about Mangonels is you don't have to have a unit to be able to fire your ammunition. So I'm just sitting there taking out some of his guys, and like I said, I don't know why he didn't pull them all back, but kind of got tired of it after a while. I like quick battles too, but I like to win. So if it takes a little while, that's fine with me. You know, he brought his cavalry out. He showed me everything that he had, which wasn't a very good idea. I pretty much knew that, you know, all those Naginata he had were hidden from before when I saw him moving up. So, you know, I decided, if you'll look on my left flank, I decided to go ahead and take my cavalry up. I'll do that in a minute. And right here, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know where you're at on your screen, but he's moving his units over. Maybe he was like trying to go outside the range of my Mangonels and come through the forest, which wouldn't be that bad of an idea. But for whatever reason, I guess it's because my cavalry started moving, he stopped and decided to just hold his position.
Yeah, so I see your cavalry situation here. You got a Great Guard.
Oh, he has
Yari,
nothing.
Yari on the right. And I noticed, I think you actually bring up them and you smash them into the first ranged unit you can find.
No, actually, this is where I decided to go for his general if I can. I really actually wanted, because I knew he left his range down there, I wanted to take his cavalry out. I like to neutralize someone's cavalry and keep cavalry supremacy. That's like, God, it's so huge in these fights. So if you see on my left flank, I'm bringing the 3 cavalry units up. It's a light cavalry, a Yari cavalry, and a Great Guard. The Great Guard is the one I'm going to take for his general. Now you see, I go to act like I'm going to rush his Naginata, which would be really stupid, but I pull back, and my Great Guard unit is just going to thread the needle. I went ahead and took my light cavalry and kind of sacrificed him just to keep his attention over there. But my Great Guard, you can see, is just threading the needle between those 2 units, going straight for his guard. Because I didn't want the other cavalry to really get involved, I went ahead and charged my other Yari cavalry into his guys. And now I'm just chasing down his general, which I'm sure incites fear into him, because I don't know how, I forget what rank this guy was, but I don't know if you've ever seen Great Guard before, but they're pretty beast. I mean, he's got a, what is that? A Nodachi Samurai unit trying to take them down. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Like, that's like, you know, trying to break through a tank with like a pickaxe, basically. And those guys are just sick.
Yeah.
But anyways,
you did a great job actually getting to the general, which looked like it wasn't going to work out as well because the forest did slow down your wedge formation, unfortunately. But I mean, he's pretty much run away. I
don't worry about my Great Guard unit until they get less to half of their starting numbers. And right now you can see he's still at 36. I actually did a little side charge there just to help out my Yari cavalry so they could live a little bit longer, and it ended up working out. I was able to go ahead and keep them engaged over there, help him out long enough to stay alive, and at that point his general was mine. Like, he could have actually, I've had people run circles around the fight before and evade me, which is really annoying, but he decided not to do that. And I actually have that Great Guard as one of my, let me see, I want to make sure before I say this. Yeah, it's one of my bet units, and I always put charge and speed into my cavalry so I can run down enemy generals if I need to.
Yeah, that's pretty good advice. I mean, I have an upcoming interview about veterancy, and that'll go a lot deeper into it if you ever get a chance to check it out. So, I mean, it pretty much looks like you beat him with your Mangonels and 3 cavalry units. I mean, I think later you push up, but, I mean,
yeah,
it's pretty much over once you wear that general down.
Over. But honestly, to tell you the truth, he still had, I think, 5 units of Naginata, and if he would have played it right, it would have been a lot closer than it ended up being. But he left his ranged out there, and so what I did is I feinted with my cavalry like I was going to go up and support my Great Guard up top, and then cut them across, and he never even saw them coming. Like you can see, he starts trying to take out some of my Katana Samurai, but you know, they're all vets, and they have some alright armor to start out with anyway. And he's really not taking down many of them, but he's got, I think, 5 units of ranged 4 bow and 1 matchlock that he just wasted. You know, if he would have held them back behind his line, or if he would have moved his line up, you know, he would have had a lot of support that otherwise now he doesn't have.
I mean, yeah, I mean, they went from wavering to shattered in a matter of seconds.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I mean, it's one thing that their generals did, but it's another that you got range guys out there with no defense, you know, so not a very good idea.
I mean, you can. I've actually won matches where I have lost my general just because I kept my army in such a tight cluster where they feed off each other.
I've lost matches where someone's lost their general, or where I've lost, where they've lost their general. You know, it just depends on what kind of unit you have in your strategy. I mean, strategy is still important, and you know, maybe it just worried him so much with the Mangonels. That's another thing that's nice about the Mangonels is it's kind of in psychological warfare. I know this might be kind of like reading it.
No, I absolutely think that is absolutely. I mean, the first time I saw him, I was scared to death. I didn't know what to do, but I figured if I just run away, I'm just going to get more casualties that way, so I just kept pushing forward. Yeah,
but this turned out to just be kind of a mop-up. he still, like I said, he still had a lot of Naginata warrior. I think it's warrior monks, but it could have just been the regular samurai left. And you know the monks have really high morale, and if that's what he has left, which I think that's what he has, then you know he still has a pretty good chance of at least doing a lot of damage to me. But he just stays there in the trees, and you know, when I have, like I said earlier, cavalry supremacy is so just pimp in this game. You know, I mean, you can basically do whatever you want because none of his units can catch you. I mean, even the ranged units, I mean, unless it's like the you know, the bow warrior monks, something like that. You know, I'm not really going to worry about how many casualties my cavalry are going to take because I'm not going to leave them exposed for that long. We're going to charge them straight in, or just, you know, go on the outskirts and maybe distract them a little bit so I can move my main force in. But anyway, so like I said, I have cavalry supremacy. The units he has on the ground are still pretty decent units, but without a general, yeah, it's not going to work out too well.
Hidden units have been discovered, my lord.
Right. So, in terms of, you know, using your cavalry the way that you do, I mean, it seems like it involves a lot of micromanagement, more than a lot of people really can handle.
It really does. It really does. I mean, you have to know where everything is on the battlefield, and I mean, I forget sometimes. You know, I really don't remember where certain units are, and that's led to a couple defeats. But it's so important that you be mindful of, you know, what's going on at what place and what you have in reserve and how long can that unit last if it gets attacked by what unit's coming at it. You know, I mean, you really do have to micromanage, not just your cavalry units, because your infantry units are really important too. I mean, a flank with a good infantry that has a nice charge can break somebody just like a cavalry unit can. But here we come to the head of it. Yeah, he has Naginata samurai all over the place, and you see he put his lone sword out front, which I think is a real mistake. You don't want to put the guys that are going to run from battle first out front, which is basically what he did. Or at least, you know, put them in a spot where if the line collapses, it's, you know, it's not going to be an end all to your match. But anyway, so they're all engaged. He's pretty much focused. I bring my cavalry behind him, and then when I think the time's right, I should a simultaneous charge with all my cavalry units on the flanks. And he had the Naginata samurai there. He could have defended against, but instead they just sat there. So
I mean, he probably should have used the Naginata as the front line and then flanked around with the. Yeah,
I mean, even if he would have, I mean, I don't really agree with this all the time, but even if he would have stacked like two Naginata units, like spread them all the way out and stacked them inside of, like at the front lines of that Lone Sword Ashigaru, and then the other Naginata samurai had kind of like, you know, bring them out a little ways and shield the rear of the line from my cavalry, that would have been a good idea. But he decided not to, so what are you going to
do? Pretty much lose, and that's about it.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, I guess pretty much you can thank him for leveling up your vets, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. You know, interesting enough, man, you were talking earlier about, you know, you were going to have a vets talk. One thing I've noticed, and it's just me, is that when you level your vets to a certain point, yeah, they're badass units, but they're so expensive, and you really take a hit, especially when you get up to the large fund and the ultra fund level. You take such a large hit with how many units you can field that it can actually become a detriment. I found that's when I dropped in rank dramatically. That's when I ranked up to what is it, 7? I think.
The large.
Yeah.
Bigger than that.
When I finally ranked up. Yeah, you get 14,000 instead of 10,000. You get 14, and I started losing once I got into those larger battle settings, and I was like, why am I losing? And I was like, you know, my units that I'm fielding are pimp, and yeah, they're outnumbering me, but I mean, these guys are just sick with their stats, and I decided to go ahead and go back to using non-vet units and just using vet cavalry in my Mangonel, and I started winning again. Like, no problem. So numbers do matter in this game. I mean, the experience and the type of unit that you field with their experience, I mean, that's very important, but you can kind of use too many really experienced units and they don't make up for the loss of the numbers. I don't think so.
Oh, it's definitely a balancing act.
Oh yeah, definitely.